Hey, we're back.
Hello, everybody.
We were back last week. We're back again. This is our second week that we've been back on the air
Yeah.
because we have to be together and all the stuff that's going on.
Yes.
And we got a great show. We're going to have Val Garay, the
Yeah.
famous Val Garay, Linda Ronstadt, you name it. He's coming on.
Right.
And what's up?
Don't you want to ask me something?
Yes, Susan, we're here in the cow barn.
Oh.
Open it up.
Oh, hold on, ladies, back up. Do you
Susan,
hear
you
these
talked
girls?
all the way through it, but those are great cows.
That sounded pretty good. So listen,
I have to keep them under control, Paul. They don't just do. They asked me a question.
Like a fart.
They said, "Why?"
Let me
It's
know when
called
you're done.
questioning every time. They're
We're
so
done.
aggravated with you two.
are you done, Susan?
No, maybe not. Now I'm done.
Okay. Tell me when.
Hold on. Now I'm done, Bob.
When?
Well, Val Garay,
Val Garay.
let's cut through the math because we don't want to bog down with math. 5 Grammys, 100 gold platinum records. I mean, Ronstadt, James Taylor, Kim Carnes, Dolly Parton, the Eagles, this, that. All those things are there. The Motels, everything's cool.
Everything.
But we're going to get into some other stuff with him. A great producer, engineer. Actually, was the engineer on Covered Wagon, our last attempt with MGM that was going to fail. Val was at the helm.
That I
love
want to hear
that.
about.
All right.
I wonder if
Polly,
he
so-
remembers it, y'all.
Well, who knows what any of us remember. So
Ah.
this is our third
Yeah,
week
right.
back. Third week back. We had our no guest episode,
third week. Okay.
and we had Bill Hanley. Now
Yes.
we got Val Garay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question, and it's going to be a new thing I do in case, because sometimes, now that we're visual, you guys,
Oh, that's right.
like when we're in real life and we're all talking, a lot of times my brothers ignore me when I'm speaking, so I have to kind of wave my hand. And now that we're visual and they know it, they kind of are starting to do it now. So what I just wanted to say, Bob, sit down, please, is I am curious what our podcast ratings were throughout our summer replacement series. Did we dip? Did we go up? And do they know we're back?
I can only share one thing.
Thank you.
There was a comment during the summer from Two Market Media, who produces our podcasts, that we were holding it steady in the summer with the video reruns of the
Really?
audio episodes. So I haven't looked at a graph, but we're back, and lots of
But
guests
you
coming
just answered
again.
my question. You
Yeah,
answered
we
my
did
question.
okay in the
Yes.
summer.
Did
You know,
okay. Well, yay. Go
Because we went up to
Cowsills.
video. I would have thought video would have been people's preference to audio if they have if they can do it. And then those that are driving and stuff like that, then it's good that they're both there, audio and video. I'm very happy about that.
yeah.
I have one other question.
Susan sounds like she looks like she's sitting in class now. Now she's at a desk raising her hand. What do you want?
I forgot what I wanted.
She forgot. It's classic stuff.
You know why I believe it? Because it happens to me about 3 times a show.
But wait, I know
It's
it.
like, I forgot.
No, but you can tell Susan's getting involved. She in her head, she knows this is visual, this is video podcast now. Where before it didn't matter, even though it was, we're still seeing each other. Now she's raising her hand. She's got all these moves now. What?
I remember what it was though.
Okay.
I wanted to say, now that we're visual, wouldn't it be nice, and maybe I should be the one, if one of us learned some sign language, or we had a little guy down here in this corner that was signing for us. I thought that was a cool idea because I noticed I do a lot of this, which I didn't know, and I do it even when we're not visual.
Yeah, listen, we already signed to each other. That's internal signing. I don't mind the little square with the person who knows how to do it in the corner during our podcast. That's okay. One day if you want to approach that. But none of the three of us are going to go learn it enough to do that, Susan. Okay. It's not going to happen.
True.
I'm just being a
Okay.
realist.
All right, I'm done. Go ahead, guys. What do you want to talk about? We have the Val Garay,
Our gig-
Val Garay guest.
Val Garay's coming. We got to let him take care of himself. We got to get
Crazy.
going here. We got gigs. We got the Christmas. Okay. November 1st
Chop,
through
chop,
December
liver.
9th. Okay. December 10th. We're in
Yep.
Watoma, Wisconsin, McCombs, Brooks, Pack, right? Sellersville,
Yep.
Natick, Mass, 17th, 18th of December, Flower Power Cruise.
Christmas sing along. Can't wait.
Yep. Then Lakeland, Florida on the 21st of January. And then on the 27th, we're in the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas. Okay. And then the Flower Power Cruise. Then the three of us are going to go to Wheeling, West Virginia and do a show there.
Yeah.
I did want to tell everybody out there, Bob. So yeah, and you'll run the list down, but just to let everybody know. So now the album's coming out tomorrow. Rhythm of the World's released tomorrow. And so going up to that, we're on other people's podcasts. We have our own podcast, but now for the advertising, the marketing of this thing, we're going now on. So we have been doing this all day long since early this morning. We have been on somebody's podcast and promoting Rhythm of the World. And so if you guys, I don't know, we got to get a list out to these guys about what podcasts we're doing in case they can listen to them, but also, yeah, so that was it. See, I just forgot my last
Susan. To your most recent
point. You did good, though. You got a lot out.
If you go to Cowsill.com and go in there, the front page pops up. Right there are two grids. You're going to see every interview that's scheduled that isn't published yet, but we're doing it so you know our schedule. And on the other side, our reviews. Now, we've had the great fortune of having 3 good reviews come out before the release date of even Rhythm of the World. So that's like opening 3 gifts the night before Christmas. So those are posted online. You can find those reviews online. You can always Google Cowsills Rhythm of the World reviews, and they'll all come up right there.
You can always do that.
We have done Spin Magazine. Hopefully, you guys, let's see, this is going to be 2 weeks from now. You want to look at the Shindig magazine. We're getting the cover on that, or had the cover if it was last week and this is this week. The Beat magazine, the Hollywood, what was that one? Hollywood something. It's an
Beat
online
magazines in UK,
Hollywood Life.
Hollywood Life,
with Hollywood Life when that comes out. But we'll post everything as it's published and as we do them.
To Paul's point,
everybody can find it on our website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But saying it here along with all the things we say.
Not with an S, just Cowsill.com. That's for our old people like ourselves who think it's Cowsills.com. And when they don't get there that way, but they do go to a really special place. However, it isn't our website. No, Becky, I'm thinking of her. And I'm thinking that's what happens when you put Cowsills.com.
That's hilarious.
Most people are going to the Facebook. And of course, it's there too.
Facebook.
But sometimes you land at Becky Presley Land, and it's not a bad thing. Becky Presley Land's like Dolly World, man, for the Cowsill people.
Oh, yeah, that's a great website. That's a go-to.
Becky Presley Land. That's kind of a cool idea.
Website. There was a rumor that Paul Pufferfish might be in the house. We haven't heard from Paul Pufferfish in a while.
Hold on.
The T-shirt production slowed way down because they said, "Is this guy still around?" And they want to know about it. They want to know about it.
Is it true?
Well, he's here.
Pufferfish, Paul Pufferfish is here. He got a little scrambled with his factoids due to COVID, but he's healed now and he's much better and he's back to swimming. And so here's what I got.
Paul, can I do my intro? Paul, let me do my intro, please.
Okay. Do it.
Hey, we got Paul Pufferfish here. He's all puffed up with knowledge and he's ready to puff your way. Take it, Paul.
I hope I don't get canceled. Apple pie is not American. It wasn't an American. Yep. Apple pie is Asian. The first apple pies came out of Asia and America had nothing to do with it.
I wonder,
except that we've taken on the apple pie as being as American as apple pie, or what? As something.
That's it. As American as apple pie.
Yeah. See, and it's not American. It's Asian.
We hijacked their phrase. We took it.
Well, somebody needs to tell Google that.
Yeah, we can do that. Here's something great, Susan.
What?
You didn't. You're having a baby. Well, you're not, but Miranda is. But
right.
you did just have you had a wedding recently.
Yes.
Did you know that the longest wedding veil was 23,000 feet long, 63.5 football fields long was the longest wedding veil.
That's not possible. Where were they going? How long was the walk to the altar? I mean, my God.
I think that they were at the altar and then just ran that thing out. They had to have had it rolled up, got her on the altar, and started off rolling this thing, the veil.
I'm trying to visualize
rolled her up like a carpet and like literally rolled her out from the point that they wanted to be around, and they rolled her all the way up.
Lucy.
the first thing I visualized was the bride going down with that trail behind her, and her neck is so far back, just like the Linda Blair in The Exorcist, just trying to get to the altar.
Yeah.
But she must have people
Well,
carrying
when
it.
I first, when I first read it, I was thinking, God, all those people to carry this veil, and that was my first image.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, we all had 3 separate images of this
but I like
woman in
Susan's
her
the best
veil.
that she's rolled up and they just roll her.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, that's pretty funny. Here's something. So that was that, and the veil is a very good thing. And I got a couple more. Did you know that? And this is the most. This is in Guinness World Book Records, that the blue whale's heartbeat can be heard from 2 miles away. You can, if you're underwater in your scuba gear or what have you, snorkeling, and you could hear the heartbeat of the blue whale, even if you were 2 miles away from it.
That's amazing.
That is crazy.
I can't imagine what it sounds like 2 feet away from you.
Oh my God.
You can hear from
yes.
2 miles. Good Lord.
I'm telling you. So I am pufferfish, but there is a bird that is called the puffin bird. And the puffer bird, he has a unique thing. You know how like birds, they'll go out and they'll get a fish, or they'll get, a fish, that's in your minds, and then the bird will eat it and then throw it up into the baby bird.
Yeah.
You've seen that a million times. Well,
Sure.
the puffin fish is rare because it holds 67 fish in its mouth at one time. Yeah.
But why? Could they have a lot of babies?
Right.
Well,
Did they just?
I think they must feed a village. It takes a village. So I think the puffin bird is there to feed the village.
Do you know if it's like one at a time per bird, or is it a whoosh, and they all come out and then the little wee guys all catch can?
Yep. That's what happens. It just throws up like the farmers, when they put out hay, they do it in a long run. So all the cows are side by side. Well, that's what they do here. Only the bird just throws up a huge long line, and all the baby puffin all get in line. The whole village.
Wait, is this a fish or a bird?
This is a bird that eating fish, 67 to be exact, in his mouth at one time. And did you know that the baby puffin?
That's up there with Jesus and the loaves.
This is Adele Ramos. The baby puffin fish is called baby puffin. That's Del Ramos. I kind of joked.
Well, baby,
and we call her mom.
That is too wild.
I don't think I can contain myself.
Well, that's good, because Paul Pufferfish is going back into the studio and getting out of his costume and coming back in here with his other costume on. So that's it.
Paul, we're visual now. They know you don't have a costume.
Oh, geez. I always forget that. I got to remind that.
I know you guys forget. You know how I know when you're forgetting? When you're looking down and writing things and stuff.
Yeah, well, I have a lot in front of me.
I know.
Soon to the merch store, the Paul Pufferfish t-shirt. It'll be
there someday.
Susan has notes. Val
I have a
Garay's on
confession.
top.
I was making Val Garay notes during our last interview.
What do we want them to do? The poster, the things we got to give away. Oh, the shirts. Merchandise. We got to
Merchandise.
Yeah, no, but
So
they're
Brad,
called something
We'll
else.
get that all organized. I think we need a
What are
t-shirt
the things
first.
they're called, though?
Brad, need a t-shirt. What?
And we need a poster.
Names of incentives.
We
That's
don't
the
want to
word we're
strike
looking for.
fear into any of the Pledge Music people that ordered the poster, but we don't have a poster yet. But we're going to get on that right now since we got our CD.
We are so.
You just heard us. We're working on everything, you guys. This is getting, it's like we were 40 or something, man. This would be easy money to do all this stuff. But we had to take on this whole thing of a new release. And like I said, we've been on the radio or some form of it since 9 o'clock this morning. So
So we come on here and we reiterate podcast after podcast.
Yes.
How totally covered these people are. Do not worry. We are here. We're going to get her done. And then Bob said something all offhanded like, Oh yeah, and then yeah, we're gonna send these posters. Of course, we don't have any posters, but whatever. We're gonna make some, and then you're gonna get some. Oh, that instilled a whole lot of
Listen,
confidence
all
in
right,
the
let's
poor
teach them
peeps.
about the Cowsills. As soon as the Cowsills
They're learning.
Listen, as soon as we learn that, okay, we're going to give everything to the pledge people, but we're going to wait till all the packages are done to get it out. Well, the first thing we want to know then is who ordered just the CD, because we're staring at 500 of those. And so we're going to sign whatever number that is and get them out right away. And knowing that, for instance, the album, hey, we got till April 15th. That's record store day when the album comes out. So any of you people that ordered signed albums,
Back up, Jack.
just take it easy on us. It's coming April, record store day, April 15th. And
Listen, we were just out of breath trying to sit down in these chairs in between our interviews. Can you imagine what we're going through trying to get these freaking packages? But we're going to get them. Okay, and there is a poster.
We're excited to do it. Look, that all of you people, that there's that many that want this thing signed, believe me, we're honored. We're going to get them out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because honestly, even though the pledge blew us out of the water, we could not have done it without them.
Rock.
Right.
Oh, right. We couldn't have done it without pledge. None of it.
Without all those people.
And by the way, if you suspect, and we're good with this, we know people are people, they think things. If you get your signed copy and it looks suspiciously like a stamp, you can send it back to us and we'll send you another one that looks more written.
Why, did you get us stamps?
No, but people are funny.
Okay.
Well,
I know
also,
Polly has one.
Well, I have a stamp and I would like to use it, but I guess that's not right. I mean, it takes as much energy, if not even a little more, to stamp my name, which I didn't sign initially to get the stamp, than to sign. Because it's going to happen. You better hope, guys, okay? And we're family here, okay? But you pledge guys, you better hope you get like at least the first one of the first 50, because as soon as we're at 500, you're not going to be able to know what we wrote.
No, I'm going to become Sue.
Down to half initials.
No, I can see online. Hey, I just got my CD from the Cowsills. I think I'm about number 500. Could anyone from the first 20 show up and put theirs up? I want to compare signatures, because you're right, Paul. They are going to go south. You know, pretty soon someone got a CD with 3 straight marks across it.
Yeah.
Hey, we just have X's.
Or pale. X's. As soon as they start going, well, who's pale, Cowsill?
Oh my God, right. Oh,
listen, I'll just start shining my face and representing all of us.
Yes,
that little face I do. Yeah.
Well,
I'm a little nervous about Val.
Oh, what time is that?
Are you guys nervous?
2:30. No, not at all.
Val comes when he wants to come.
Yeah, Val can come late. Val cannot come
at all. You guys, before he
comes
here, I want to say one thing.
Well, you better hurry up. It's 2:30.
There was an accepted nickname for Val, but we're not going to talk about it when he's here, but I'm going to say it right now.
What?
And it was accepted. And I know it's been said in his presence, and he kind of smiled proudly. Gucci Garay. Because Val was a fashionista, is still, I'm sure. I'm sure he's going to look like $1 million when he shows up, because that's how he rolls. Okay. And I just remember that. So I'm sharing it now.
Are you going to say it?
Like before the teacher comes in.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to tell
now, in case, since it's video again, in case he looks like he just rolled out of bed and that's how he rolls normally, we'll be all open about that.
We need to tell folks, especially folks who care. Oh, no. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, I would be surprised if he didn't look impeccable, or at least.
Sure. I hope he's in his studio with that thing behind him, because I don't know if you saw pictures, guys, of the studio he's in that he has.
I saw videos of him talking about machines, and it was really, he's like, super compressor accelerator XR52, which has never been touched by human hands. I'm like, oh my God.
That's like Frank Filippetti has that tech stuff, and we'll talk about things that you don't know what he's saying.
I bet Val leaned toward engineering more than singer-songwriter because he was a brainiac. Okay, because he was going to be in medicine first.
Well, David Hassinger is somebody he's going to work with for a year at the Sound Factory, because David Hassinger said, you got a great set of ears. Well, I would like to know what that means. What exactly does that mean, Val? What did David mean by that? And in a year, has he going on your own?
Hearing? Yeah. Oh my God, here he comes.
Here's Val.
There he is.
Look at that.
That's Val. Man. He looks like a painting of
I himself. Love Zoom.
Ladies and gentlemen, Val Garay.
Susan, look at you guys.
Val. How are you, honey?
I'm doing great,
We're going to tell the audience that there is an emotional component to this visit with Val. Now, it's not like we were super colleagues all through his heyday and, we're touching base with Val, but our histories interacted on a number of occasions, certainly probably with a higher peak in our memories than even Val's probably. But it's just amazing to see you, Val. It's really touching that you're so viable and so still going strong and all of it like we are.
And that you're here.
I never stop. I'm working every day.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
it's like you go, hey, 5 Grammys and 100 gold records and platinum records. What is he doing here with us? Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm
I guess he
busy.
needs
That's
a
what I'm
boost in
doing.
his,
I'm busy.
identity. Yeah, I got to get a boost here. But man, Susan, start with Val. We don't want to hold him up too much. Go.
Okay, I get to start off. Hi, Val. First of all, long time no see. You look exactly. You look exactly the same.
That's good considering I just turned 80.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
listen,
wait. For
it's
real
amazing.
though,
Yeah,
Val
for real.
Garay. Are you kidding me right now? I even
No,
saw
May 9th, 1942. That was my
I saw the
birthday.
number, but I'm really bad at math. Well, happy birthday! Holy cow, man, that's amazing.
He was around when the big deal was made.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay, Val Garay, I'm going to get serious, get professional. We're going to do a podcast interview here. So I like to start out. Now, of course, I in-depth read about you, and I do know a few things that you were up to as a young Val. But I still want to ask, you grew up in a musical family. I saw that too. Your folks were obviously had talent. But were you automatically a guy who wanted to either have a band, play a guitar, sing, or did you have any other aspiration? Now, I did see the whole medical situation, so I figured,
Well,
but yeah.
I can give you a simple answer to the whole thing. My father was a very successful singer and an actor. He did 30 films. He starred in the 3rd movie Walt Disney did.
Wow.
He owned the most successful nightclub in San Francisco. I have great photographs of him and Bogart and Bacall, and his best friend for 30 years was Errol Flynn.
Wow.
So I was around the entertainment business as a kid all the time. But I was a closet guitar player, country singer in high school. So we used to play in my garage, me and my friend Mark McNabb, but we wouldn't tell anybody because they, in the 50s, somebody playing country music.
Not cool.
You would have thought you were like really not the kind of people they wanted to associate with.
Yeah.
So
What are you singing? Are you singing Charlie Pride? Are you singing Kissing Angel? What are you doing?
I was more of a Ray Charles fan, and Ray Charles' first big album was all country songs.
Ah, okay.
So that side of it.
Self-taught guitar?
My uncle was a guitarist, an extraordinary guitarist who played in a trio his whole life, as well as working for the government as a GS-11 inspector. So on the weekends, his trio would play all over the Bay Area. And so when I decided to learn to play guitar, he taught me how to play.
Okay,
And you
so
could
it's
sing.
Yeah, my dad, was a great voice. He was an amazing tenor.
And at what age do you decide that I can write songs too? Now you're a songwriter?
No, it didn't go down that way. No.
Okay.
So as I was going everywhere with my father, who at the time was, really well known. An example of that would be when I lived in Burlingame, California, which is south of San Francisco. In Hillsborough, I lived actually next door to the Crosby family, and down the road was the Hearst family. It's a very wealthy part of Northern California, old money. And so Burlingame High School, the parking lot looked like a BMC dealership. There was a Morgan here and an empty there and a Mustang here and not a Mustang, a Thunderbird and, crazy, rich people. In fact, they tried to close high school about 10 years ago because there was no students because nobody could afford to buy property and have children. So now they bust kids in.
That's amazing.
crazy.
But I would go downtown. My dad would send me a check for my birthday, like for $20. And I'd go downtown to the bank to cash it at the Bank of America in Burlingame. And the woman behind the counter would go, "Oh my God, do you know who that is?" I go, "Yeah, it's my father."
Wow.
So that's the kind of things I was confronted with. And so no matter where I went with him as a child, all the people would go, well, what's he going to do? What's he going to? My dad would go, he's going to be a doctor. You know, you're not going to go near the entertainment business. Hence, I got a scholarship to Stanford School of Medicine. And in my second year of graduate school, I got in a band because you could definitely get laid in a band in the 60s and not in a lab class.
Right on.
The white coat wasn't cutting.
Can I stop you right there on a couple of questions? Thank you. First of all, tell me about the Get Laid band. I mean, what were you playing? Who's in the band in that college? Is it serious?
It was all my friends from high school who started a band and actually signed with Tom Donahue and Autumn Records, and they made a hit record, the first shot out, called the band was called the Bo Brummels, and the song was called Laugh Laugh.
Oh, laugh, laugh. I thought I'd die.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
That was your college band?
No, high school, we all went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
Ron Pitt and Sal Valentino, whose real name was Stompanato. And so I got exposed to the music industry that way and dropped out of Stanford and played in the Bay Area for almost 2.5, almost 3 years until I got bored with being a big fish in a little pond. And so I got in a car with my friend Ron Dudley, and my suitcase and my guitar and drove to LA.
Wow.
And that was
Did your parents freak out? Did your parents freak out?
No,
Right
my
on.
father and mother were always
Sweet.
very supportive of whatever I wanted to try.
That's awesome.
My father was a little disappointed after spending whatever it cost to go to Stanford
Sure.
in that era. I don't remember.
Sure.
Yeah, it was
Understandable.
How does Val Garay, the songwriter and guitarist, or guitarist and band member?
Well, when I got to LA, I mean, I started hanging out in the music circle with everybody in Laurel Canyon. In fact, I moved into a house in Laurel Canyon where there was a band that lived there called the Sons of Adam. And I slept on the floor because there was no more bedrooms. And then finally one of the guys moved out and I got a bedroom, and then a band from San Diego moved in and slept on the floor for 6 months. And that was the Iron Butterfly.
Oh, geez.
But when are you going to say, I'm not going to be in bands, I'm going to help bands?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. So I was in bands. Internet, Lou Adler signed me. Clive Davis signed me. I was in
Holy cow, you had shots.
3 or 4 different big bands. And then I got, to the point where exactly what you said, I was like, I don't want to depend on 4 other people for my livelihood. Maybe I can figure out a way. And fortunately, one of the studios that I'd done the Pan record with Ron Elliott for Clive, the owner, Dave Hassinger, who was a really famous engineer, did all the Stone stuff and
Satisfaction,
the Airplane records and the first 3 Grateful Dead records and on. Sam Cooke. He said, "You got great ears. Why don't you come to work for me at the Sound Factory?" And I went,
why did he say that to you? You have great ears.
because I was in the studio working with him. He was the engineer and I was the producer, trying to become a producer, but I could never get any great clients. I mean, I did Johnny Tillotson and people like that,
Yeah.
So you went out. Go ahead, Paul.
Well, so you were engineering before you were producing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I wanted to know.
But you have to also remember that I was a songwriter for April Black, but I was a songwriter for Barry DeVorzon and Billy Sherrill. What's his name? Warner Tamerlane music. I did that for like 2.5 years, staff songwriter, making a salary, or I would have been, in the street.
Right.
Awesome.
And I did that. And
but you decided, you had to have said, look, I'm engineering, but I got some ideas that I want these people to know
wait a minute.
about.
When you're a good engineer, you do nothing but expound great ideas.
Oh, okay.
Funny, because I was just talking about this the other day because somebody said to me, "You did Summer Breeze." I went, "Yeah." And they went, "God, that's one of my all-time favorites." I went, "Well, great. I'm glad to hear that." And they go, "But what I don't understand is that sound that they did in the intro, it sounds like a weird instrument." And I said, "Well, it wasn't really a weird instrument. It was Dashcroft's 3-year-old daughter's little 6-inch long piano, and I mic'd it and we played down, down, ding, down, yeah, and then doubled it with a regular piano with gaffer's tape on the strings, and then Louis Shelton doubled it with a guitar, and
That's awesome.
So
that's producing.
just stuff like you had to invent stuff, and I always had ideas. I wasn't the producer, Louis Shelton was, but same thing with Linda Ronstadt. I mean, was a multitude of ideas, as was Danny Korchmeyer, who went on to be another producer with Henley.
Yeah, for sure.
You do that as part of the thing. I was a songwriter, guitar player. This sounds good to me. That doesn't, so
Right.
do that. And then when you finally end up producing, I produced everything I produced. I recorded and mixed as well. So all 100+ albums
That's
that
right.
I have,
You did everything.
I did everything.
Gotcha.
Wow.
I remember
And
that.
you brought us a lot of happiness.
Yeah, and I got Grammy nominations for both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. You did okay for yourself, I think, for
Yeah.
sure. Hey, so I have a question about Linda Ronstadt, if you don't mind. We were just wondering that special on her when she went to the sang that Mexican song. Oh God, that blew me away. Anyway, as a lead vocalist and as a recording artist in the studio, we were just wondering, was she like first take is the great take? Did she 15 takes? Did you compile some takes, some lead vocals? As a recording artist and a singer, was she smooth in the studio, or did she pound it?
All the songs that were the biggest hits that she had, which were Blue Bayou was the biggest.
Good.
Baby, Baby, Tracks of My Tears, When Will I Be Loved? All those tracks were 1 or 2 takes and live vocals. And what I would do is, in the analog days, I would print her vocals simultaneously to 3 different tracks, so that I always had an extra if I went in to fix something and it didn't work.
Understood.
Wow, that was genius.
Man,
So those were live vocals, no overdub, nothing. Blue Bayou is,
And no
2 takes.
splicing?
And she learned the song like the same day. I mean, and
Wow.
you'd think she'd sung it her whole life.
Wow.
That's her gift. That's a gift, man.
Oh yeah.
Can I ask my one motel question? Then Paul and Susan, I won't, take over this thing. I have a motels question. On only.
Okay.
Okay. So when you come up to the motels are an operating band and everything. Okay. Now you're going to go into the studio, because we had this done to us, and I think it happened to the motels. Did you, you must have you knew the best studio musicians in the world at that time. In the way, when we did the Rain in the Park, we had Jimmy Wisner, and we got studio musicians. Like, we're not going to play on this record. I don't think the motels.
Which I actually listen to today.
The motels did not play on their record, right? I mean, I think you used your session.
Okay, here's the way it went down. Martha Davis was living with her boyfriend, Tim McGovern, who was the lead guitarist in the Motels at the time. And she had a band that had a drummer, bass player, and Marty Gerard, who played keyboard and sax. We went in and cut a whole album from beginning to end, delivered it to Capitol. Capitol said, gee, we love this band. We don't love this record. And the reason that they didn't like the record is Tim McGovern forced me to do it the way he wanted, with weird delays on her voice and strange arrangements, and et cetera, et cetera. So at that point, I said to Martha Davis, you got 2 choices. You can fire me and hire somebody else, or I'm going to go in and do this my way.
Wow.
So she called me up the next day and said, I broke up with Tim, threw him out of the house, and you call your guys. So I immediately called up Craig Cramp, who played drums on Betty Davis Eyes.
Great.
Steve Goldstein, who was the keyboard player on Betty Davis Eyes, and Craig Hall, who was the guitarist. And so that became the Motels. I used their bass player, but everything after that was all those guys. And that was the record that the world heard. And Only the Lonely, I cut that 5 different times.
No kidding. 5 times before you got the one you wanted?
Yeah, 5 different times I cut it. And the reason that track worked so great is we cut it to a click. And if you remember, the whole first verse is just a synthesizer and her.
Yes.
It's really open. So when the band came in, because it was cut to a click, it sounded like it slowed down. So I kept the track that we did with everybody playing, and then I recut the front 0.2 of a beat slower, 2 clicks slower. When the band came in, it kicked,
Wow.
That sounds like Chuck Plotkin kind of thing. He loved that VSO thing. You knew
Which
Chuck. I know you worked with Chuck. Go ahead, Susan.
I worked with Chuck a million times, and he used everything that I showed him in the Springsteen
Of course he
record.
did, and and he would give you credit. I have a question. It's kind of like a overview question. So the Cowsills and Val Garay. So my brothers tell me that you were an engineer on a Cowsill record called Covered Wagon. I don't know if you remember doing that or not. He
I
doesn't.
love it.
I did so many records. There was a
Oh, it's
There's
okay.
two things we want to ask you about. Number one, we were with Chuck Plotkin in the late 70s working on the Cocaine Drain album. And for some reason, we think that album got to you or either crossed your hands, your ears, but it never got released. The project was going to fall apart. It was supposed to go to Electric Asylum. But we didn't know if you even remember having anything to do with Chuck and us back in those days when we were at Clover.
Well,
78.
Chuck, when he owned Clover, all the stuff that I did with Chuck was at the Sound Factory.
Yeah.
The Andrew Gold records,
Yep.
the Orleans records, those were all done at the Sound Factory. He did other things at Clover because he didn't have to pay to work there. He owned it.
Right.
He liked having his own studio.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give you a little update on Cowsill history because our fans love Covered Wagon. We showed up on your door at the Sound Factory, me, Bill, Barry, and John. Maybe Waddy was there. He might have been. But anyway, we showed up at your door at the Sound Factory, and we recorded about 4 songs with you in about 1971, 72 maybe. And this was our last hurrah. And I just want you to know that you were the engineer, and we were all gaga goo-goo about you. And I know to us, we're just that nice client. We get that. Man, it's okay. We don't mind.
Keep going.
We don't mind, but we got the guy we want at the helm. And, you know, we're teenagers. We still think we have it. We still think, oh, with Val Garay at the helm and Covered Wagon, what a team, what a team. Well, anyway, it's going to stiff. But you were that guy. And it was a big memory for us. And we wanted to share it with you because it was really important in our history, because it was, unfortunately, the last record we made, it stiffed. I don't know. We could have blamed you, maybe. I don't know. But it was really it was a good time for us. And that's it for me.
Listen,
with Val.
we just did a podcast with Bill Hanley from Hanley Sound, the father of Festival Sound, where we have a very long, lengthy history with. He's 85, guys.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of like, I came up to your house. That's pretty much all I got. We were like, okay, well, let us tell you all the ways we've entered, I mean, he was our main guy. So
Val,
we understand that sometimes y'all stick out more to us than we do to y'all.
Go, Paul.
Yeah, let me ask you something, Val. And this might sound funny, but I was a sound guy, for a bunch of years, and I did John Denver and Helen Reddy, and I was Helen's road manager, actually, me and Jeff Wald. And did you ever do sound reinforcement? Have you ever gone out with a Linda Ronstadt?
Oh, are you kidding? I did the Living in the USA tour where she was the headliner and the Eagles were the second act and Jackson Browne was the opening act.
I got to see that show because of Jackson.
And then I did a tour with James Taylor for the JT record.
Cool.
They made me go out. I don't like to go on the road, but what's interesting is the Linda one that I did, the last show was at the Forum, and there was this old black guy who'd been working, as a usher there for 20 years. And he came up to me after the show to the mixing booth and he goes, you know what? That's the best sounding show I've heard in this place in the entire time I worked here. So maybe it wasn't too bad.
Those are the best. Those are the best compliments. Those are the best compliments.
Wow. Woo, trip.
Okay, record 1. So with David Hassinger, so he's convinced you in, I guess, a year that, okay, I've learned a lot.
What happened was I worked with him for about, 75, almost 6 years. And we had a falling out where somebody stole a microphone and he took it out of all of our pay and I had nothing to do with it and wasn't working the day it happened. So it kind of made me realize that I needed my own operation. So I went to my lawyer, John Frankenheimer, at the time and said, I want to build a studio, get me somebody to put up the money. And 2 months later, Mel Simon shows up and we go and build record 1, $3.5 million later.
Wow.
And to this day, you're still You're still working?
Yeah, it's still there. Dr. Dre owns it.
Is that right?
Dr. Dre, the
Yeah.
rehab.
There's only one Dr. Dre.
Rapper, the biggest rapper in the world. Yeah, Dr. Dre.
No, actually.
The billionaire, the guy who got $3 billion for Beats from Apple.
Do you believe that? No.
No.
Susan actually had an anesthesiologist named Dr. Dre, and
Got to go because I got to get back to what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Val,
do this
thank you
again
so much.
sometime.
Thank you, Val Garay. We
We
appreciate it so
did.
much.
We're gonna stop by your studio, okay? We'll give you a hint.
Yeah,
Anytime,
we're coming
man.
over for lunch, buddy.
Anytime. You got my number, my address.
Yes, we
Come
do.
on.
Awesome. Great to
Awesome.
see
Be
you,
great
Val.
to see you.
Thank
All right,
you.
honey. Peace out.
Love you.